So we're now going to go on to the next stage where we're going to add a software instrument, which is an instrument that you're going to play off of the keyboard. So the keyboard has to be working. It has to be hooked up in this case, and the way you can test that is if we have a software track, and one of these green tracks are. So this is a software track. So you can see as I am playing the keyboard, and you can see that it's indicating there that it's coming through. Make sure that the keyboard itself, the volume is turned off. What you want to be doing is hearing the sound from the computer. The sound is going to be coming from the computer. That's what we want. So I'm going to add a live drum track to this. I've got a piano and a bass and an acoustic guitar, so I'll just play this briefly for you. So it's just a little loop. So I'm going to add a track. And so I'm going to say new track, and I want this to be a software instrument. It shows a piano, but it can be any instrument you pick. So I'm going to say create. And in this case, I want it to be a drum kit. You can see how this came up, and this is controlled by this little I, which is the letter I rather than the eyeball. So I want a drum kit. I'm going to pick a jazz drum kit. So what that has done is there is now a different drum sound on each key of the piano, or each key of the piano that I'm hitting. Now I'm actually going to have three parts to this. I'm going to close this a bit so we can see this a bit better. So turn this off. And I'm going to use the same kit, but I want to divide my drums because I'm not really a drummer. So I'm going to divide them into three tracks, one for my bass drum, one for the snare drum, and one for the hi-hat. So I'm going to come up and say duplicate track, and I'm going to do that another time. So I now have three tracks that all point to the drum kit. If you'll notice, for it to work, it has to have the little red recording light on it. So if I hit the recording light, I'm talking to the drums. If I hit on this track, right? If I hit it on the bass track, I'm not getting the bass sound. And if I get it on the piano track, I'm getting the piano sound. The reason we don't get it on the guitar track is because the guitar is not a software instrument. It's an acoustic instrument. That's why it's blue. So I want to add a bass drum groove to this. I just want it to be a small little part. So one of the things I want to do is just to record over 2 bars and then repeat that. So this is a little sign. You can see that this came up. I can adjust this. So what this means is that when this song plays, it's just going to keep playing those 2 measures over and over again. So I'm going to go to my piano and find the key that gives me the bass drum sound. So now I'm going to start this. I'm going to let it come around. I'm going to hit record, and when I hit record, then I can start adding the bass drum part. Notice that each time it comes around, I'll stop it. Each time it comes around, I've got these numbers. That means because it went around 4 times and I recorded 4 times on it, I'll only hear one at a time, but I can pick the one that I think is best, that I did the best on. So that's take 3. I'm going to save number 3 to show you in a few minutes how to improve these, but we'll add the other parts. So there's our bass drum part. We're going to come down to this track. What I want to add on this track is the snare drum. So I'll find the sound that I want for the snare drum. Stop that. And I have 2 takes of the snare drum. And again, I can decide which one of those takes I'm going to use. I think it'll probably be number 1, but we'll see. Now, before I get these things going, I want to tighten up what's called the rhythm in these, because the rhythm of these drums is kind of sloppy, and I could replay them over and over, but you can do what's called quantizing. And if I go to I'm going to click on this recording, and I'm going to double click, and this opens up this. So down here you see it says enhance timing. If I do the pull down menu, so there's no timing, I'm getting exactly what I put into it. However, what I can do is, these are in fractions, so the bigger the number on the bottom, that means the smaller the fraction, so it's going to have less effect on it, but I can do the adjustment. So this, let's just sample, or let's just solo the bass drum part, and in fact I'm going to double click and call it bass drum, so I know exactly what that is. While we're at it, why don't we come down here, double click, and call this one snare, and then this hasn't been recorded yet, but it's going to be the hi-hat. So it just keeps things organized. So I've soloed this bass drum part, so what we do is hear the bass drum part, and if I see enhance timing, see it's adjusting it, so I want to tighten it up but not that much. I'm going to try it at 8th. I'm now going to come to the snare drum part, and I'm going to try it at quarter notes, because it's supposed to be quarter notes. So you see here how that timing is getting a little bit cleaner there. So let's have everything play. We're going to come down, we're going to add the hi-hat part. So select the hi-hat track, you see the arrows here. And the hi-hat, I'm going to actually pick 2 keys. One is a closed hi-hat sound, and one is an open hi-hat sound. I think the second take was the best for the hi-hat. And I am going to put it to 16th notes. And again, since they're on their own tracks, I can adjust the volume of any of these tracks. Maybe the bass drum up. And if you can't hear the hi-hat, there's the hi-hat. If I take the timing off, a little sloppy, and if I put it on at 16th notes, it cleans it up. So we've now added a drum part, my own custom drum part that's running, and let's have this loop, these parts loop. Let's turn this off so we get a bit more space here. So I'll just have this repeat for each of these tracks. There we go. Now I'm going to turn off the cycle, so it just plays from the beginning. So with the cycle on, it just plays that little section up here, the yellow section. But with the cycle on, it will start from the beginning and play right through. Adjust some of my volumes. And start mixing. So when you first do this, don't be too upset if your timing isn't that accurate. You can try to improve it, but don't forget that the program itself will give you a chance